Welcome back to the Dota 2 Asian Championship powered by the Score Esports. This is game 2 of Big God versus Secret. Whoever loses is going to be 4th place, but no one wants to lose right now. It's Secret with a 1 game advantage. Big God really want to come back. I think they weren't prepared for this draft, but Big God has something under the sleeve for this next time.
Well, Directorate had a few words for ROTK after that game. I mean, it's normally ROTK yelling, if anything, but that was not in the script, Bruno. He didn't put all this effort into drafting it for game 1 to go like that. So
yeah, absolutely. And Xiao8 is a safe guy, you know? He doesn't like to take risks. ROTK completely the opposite. Maybe the two of them can find a balance that can take this team to victory. Winter, how do you feel about Big God today?
Well, the last game, it seemed like they have a couple of disagreements in team's decision when we were watching the game, especially the bottom fight where initially our TK got caught out by the enemy team and he tried to juke into the trees, but at the end of the day he died, but he dropped one Ravage before he died. And the team was still nearby and they were taking a fight and we felt like, why isn't he buying back? He still has Refresher and Ravage.
And it was a long fight too. It was like 25 seconds or
and
something.
The moment, I mean, I understand if you don't buy back right away, but as soon as the fissure came on to your Shadow Fin, you must be thinking, okay, I have to do something right now instead of just doing nothing. And it ended up the whole team, I think it was like 3 heroes died.
Yeah. Xiao8 died.
They pushed high ground and they lost Rex just because he refused to buy back.
Now there were other moments. That wasn't the only moment that maybe gives Secret the edge there, but that was a really decisive one.
Yeah, that was the most decisive one that I could see indecision in between. Like someone wants to fight, someone doesn't want to fight.
It is the one issue perhaps with this team. They have, well, we have actually put draft ready, so we're going to hop into
go to the draft right now. We're 3 picks in, and the surprise of this draft is that no team banned the Vat Rider, and Team Secret with the first pick doesn't pick it either.
Isn't it the same opening just now? Big God or someone open with Shadowfin and
oh yeah, you're right. Shadowfin was the first.
Shadowfin was the last pick. I thought it was the.
Yeah, it's the exact same opening as the.
Well,
first
the
game.
sniper is the difference, though. This is the difference here.
Last game that was
an Earthshaker.
Shaker, yes.
Yeah.
But this looks much better for Big God. I'm actually surprised because Team Secret, they have to know that if they let the Bad Rider go, it's going to be picked. However, they're like, okay, no problems. We do have the counter. We get the Shadowfin. We get the Earthshaker. We're not gonna get our Chen because teams are banning that against Secret every single time. But there's still a lot of things that they can go for. They can go for the Kuroki Wisp. They can go for. They even went for Enchantress one game, I think, when they didn't have Chen. So I don't think you can starve Secret support too much. And they do get the Earthshaker.
Yeah, I was considering whether they were going to pick the Shaker or not. It's not the traditional counter to Bat Rider. It's okay, but it takes a little while to cast the Fissure. So usually if you have Blink and Force, you will at least be able to Force Staff, and then maybe you get stunned after that, but then usually the damage has already been done. So this opener, I think in part, they didn't need to pick the Shaker because they could have banned it if they were scared of the thing we've seen a couple of times in the mid lane with Sniper getting help from Shaker against Shadow Fiend. But I think they're picking the Shaker more to secure the Shadow Fiend than to counter the Bat. It's a way of giving Arteezy a good head start in mid.
Yeah, and Shaker is definitely one of those heroes where you just stand and be at level 1. It doesn't matter for the hero, a hero like Earthshaker, making sure that the mid you stack for Arteezy and you make sure he doesn't die. He's a hero that is perfectly fine for this sort of role.
We're going to see the Brood ban now. I mean, there are technically heroes that can deal with the Brood, as we've talked about. The Axe, the Tide, they're all still out there, but Big God just want to get rid of it. They don't want their lanes to suffer at all. The Bat Sniper are not very good against this hero early on, and, well, really at any stage of the game, until much later once the Bat can go hunting the Brood.
The quad ban is also pretty fun from Big God because they say, okay, the Sniper has a pretty good lane against the Shadow Fiend. Let's try to keep it that way. Let's not make Team Secret get anything that would move the Shadow Fiend to another lane. We do want that matchup. We feel confident. Team Secret banning the Ancient Apparition might be hinting at a Wisp.
I think it's
not
more
a hero they've run very often. Generally only with the... We saw the tiny Wisp
They
once.
could be doing this just to throw, like, oh, we want them to think we're going to pick this and use their ban on that, but we actually want something else.
I think it's also a really good support to run together with. First of all, you've got Chilling Touch with Sniper, and you've got AA Ultimate with Bat Rider. It's just a great setup, and will give Big God some interesting laning options as Drow is still in. And if they would have picked AA plus Drow plus whatever, I think the lineup of Big God could have been extremely scary to play against.
Do you really want to run Drow Sniper, though? That is extremely squishy.
Drow Sniper plus Bat Rider as your 3 cores might be a
It
bit.
could work.
It could work, but it feels like it lacks someone
Yeah.
to stand in front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you can't get a tanky core then.
Yeah.
So that's true.
Maybe
Then you
you
would have
can-
to go greedy Bat Rider jungle, and that might be taken a little bit too far. So
Or
yeah,
you just
I
have to
actually
win
I
the
agree with
lanes.
that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. The Drow would probably not have been the best choice, but still AA with the chilling touch and the ultimate
Yeah.
still should not be underestimated.
Oh,
And they're gonna
Juggernaut.
take the Juggernaut for burning.
The Burning Jug. Now, the last time they ran the Burning Jug, it was in the context of a pretty heavy early aggression lineup. This lineup has the Sniper, which changes it a bit. It can be aggressive early, but scales fairly well into the late game.
Yeah,
Gives
and
them a hero that can jump and just deal with the Shadow Fiend Earthshaker pretty early on.
also Big God is going to be pretty decent at pushing. Sniper and Juggernaut both 2 good heroes to start sieging towers, and if someone wants to go on any of the pushing heroes, you have the Bat Rider to zone everyone out. So they do have the potential to go that route if they want to. The Burning Juggernaut has not been as successful this tournament. He's played it 5 times, going 3-2. So we'll see if
2 draws
yes.
in his 7 games.
So we'll see if actually he can create an impact. But again, no big tanky heroes for Big God. Everyone pretty squishy. That healing ward, of course, will make everyone a little bit more durable. But suddenly they're very susceptible to a lot of burst damage.
They can still run random support Juggernaut.
Yeah,
it's not a TI4.
that's actually an interesting idea. Something that's I don't think will be on Secret's radar because we have not seen any support
And
jugs.
Clockwork versus Sniper. We've seen this story before.
Yeah.
There's no Venge that is banned. I mean, what else is there to deal with that hook shot? I mean, if you want a defensive support, there's like the Shadow Demon. Is there any chance we see that Shadow Demon Marana style aggression out of Big God? Because it worked really well for Vici Gaming.
It's extremely good for their lineup.
Yeah, good versus the Shadow Fiend as well. You gank him easily in the early laning phase with a shrapnel.
I just don't know if it's something Big God would like. Lanham, I feel, is the type player that could do that, but we have seen Ice mostly on fairly passive supports.
You know they've been prioritizing more on team fight orientated,
Yeah.
a little bit more passive supports. So I would actually expect those type of supports.
It's very risky to go for that when you're on the verge of elimination if you haven't practiced it.
Well, at the same time, if you're picking a team fight support duo into Shaker, Shadowfiend, Clockwork now, I think that's kind of like running yourself into the ground.
All right. Well,
Rubik is hybrid.
Lanham, yeah, he's a
That's-
hybrid, and Lanham played it amazingly well against Earthshaker last
You
game.
want to hear something funny?
No,
Okay, never mind. then.
You knew he was going to ask something like that before he even started talking. Bruno, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Do you know what ROTK's record with Bad Rider this tournament?
0-0.
That is correct. Never
Hasn't-
been picked.
Hasn't played any bad.
see how I just
Used
played it
to be
once,
a
right? And he lost.
No.
You know, I still remember.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
I still remember that really unfortunate game for RTK. I think it was back on DK even when he lassoed a creep and it cost them the game
Yeah.
trying to break the enemy base.
It's actually been played 4 times. I think it was
For some reason, we just remember these things more with our
Xiao 8.
poor guy.
Xiao 8 has been the player. Actually, no, never mind. Actually, ROTK played 1. He's 1-0 with it. So,
Oh, he did play.
yeah, he did play 1.
Okay, so
Never mind.
So everything.
So I
was-
sounded really smart, but then you had to go and make me look stupid.
Well,
just
I
baited
baited
you
you into
so
it.
hard.
Yes.
Was it, but you made yourself look stupid too, because you said yes. You're
Yeah,
correct
no,
for
I
a really
actually
long
checked
time.
and I saw Xiao 8. I was really looking at how I saw ROTK. It was...
It's pretty nice that Winter and I can be the smartest guys
He's-
by just being silent. That's like the best
That's
strategy.
He's dragging me down with his ship. I want no part of this.
It was versus EG. He went 3, 5, and 14.
All right.
That was
Sydney.
Look at
Burning's
this.
Rapier game.
The
Oh
draft
boy.
gets interesting. Secret going for that jungle hero for Puppy, the Enigma. It's been denied to them their past few matches. They have not been running quite as much of his junglers as they did in the group stage, mostly due to bans, I would say.
Yeah. Do you feel there's any kind of way that Big God can punish the Enigma pick with the last support?
Well, they have a Rubik, so they can steal Black Hole. It's not. That is.
That's not punish. I mean,
Yeah, if you wanna hunt him down in the jungle, you can play the
I-
bounty hunter.
which so far we saw twice.
and
Failed
it
both
didn't
times.
work. Yeah.
It's pretty scary.
Is it good
in
against
this
Enigma as
game.
well? I feel like the Eidolons are much scarier than some of those
How
other
about
creeps.
this game? RTK has a much better 1v1 matchup. Clock versus Bat, and they have Rubik plus like aggressive support Skyraf Rome with the Juggernaut.
That
and
could be good.
Offensive tri-lane against the Enigma, or at least 2-1-2. Force the Enigma to your jungle and send someone to look for him.
They banned out the Wind Ranger. I think
There's also like a
Secret-
puck out there.
Secret
what
could
what
get
is
Storm.
What is S4?
Storm actually would be really good here.
He ruined snipers.
If he goes for Storm, I mean, if they actually pick Storm, it would actually further encourage Big God to do aggressive tri-lane.
Yeah.
But it's not something they've
But
done
they
much
don't have
of
the
this
last
event.
pick.
They did go aggressive trying last game with a Morphling, so it's not like they're afraid to do it, to be fair.
They need like a initiating semi-core. Like S4's hero right now has to be some sort of a
Like
hero that
Puck,
can actually carry.
Storm.
Puck seems like very
Ooh,
a little
well,
underwhelming.
that is a counter to the Enigma.
I thought they might get Sand King and just play safe lane and jungle the Sand King against
Against the
Against
Enigma.
such a
Yeah,
jungler.
so
that
they
would
could
that would be
both-
like how Vici Gaming would play
Yeah.
this, I think.
and Lannon plays a really good Sand King, so they could have done that. And Ice on Rubik is also really solid.
Well, now the
This
team
is
fights could go Big God's way. They have amazing
How are you
initiative.
going to fight against Lasso?
Global
and
lasso.
Global?
You global, you lasso.
You're not
Secret
fighting.
have basically no answer.
And they have no answer to the tri-lane either, if they play this aggressive tri-lane.
This is-
Silencer Rubik Juggernaut is
even-
extremely powerful.
Even a dual lane would be troublesome enough for Earthshaker +1.
yeah,
Even a dual
that's
lane.
true. They could do that.
This
as
is
well.
the first time Big God is playing the Silencer. I'm assuming it's going to be a
Huh.
land Silencer. And
Have they run this hero this tournament?
I can tell you.
I mean,
in a
Lord
sec-
knows we've seen plenty of Troll.
I will tell you in a
But
second.
have we
no,
even seen it from
never.
Secret?
This is the first time they pick Troll this tournament.
Why Troll?
Why not?
Safe.
Well, I'm curious what the
I mean,
reasoning
it's
is.
his safe lane, and he has good laning presence since you have a jungling hero which compensates having a melee support, which is a Earthshaker.
So a more independent laner,
Yeah,
you think?
very independent laner.
Then they could have
do you
picked
know if-
Puck,
do you
but
know if
maybe Silencer.
Berserker
Yeah, but
Rage-
the issue that I said about Puck was they needed someone else to be a semi-core. Otherwise, their draft feels very underwhelming against the Juggernaut and Sniper.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can't rely on the Black Hole because you're up against the Silencer and the back.
I mean, the Black Hole seems like, casting Black Hole right now as Team Secret seems like
it's like a bad idea. Maybe you don't skill it and you just get stats, so they can't steal it.
And
they
that was Will's idea. Trick the Rubik.
Trick the Rubik. Make him wait for it.
Great strat. Effectively play 4 and 4 Dota.
Okay then, so that's going to be the second game of this best of 3 series. Secret versus Big God. Secret has 1 game advantage. Big God wants to come back. Will they? I guess David, Godsparker, and Ben Wu Merlini, or Ben Merlini Wu, will tell us how it goes. Guys, it's all yours.
Well, Bruno, I can't tell you now how this game's going on, but I can at least walk you guys through it at home, as we have got Game 2 of Big God versus Secret. Secret taking Game 1, Ben.
I can tell you how it's going.
How's it going?
Game is paused.
Game is paused. Okay. We're missing...
Bring it on,
the-
bitches.
Whew.
Dang, the taunt effigy.
That's good. What was his old one? He used to have a good one as well. Like, I think he had one which was kind of inappropriate, if I recall correctly.
Burning has a anti-mage one, no inscription. And Lanham has a Juggernaut one, also no inscription. Interesting.
I like the PPD Treant one earlier today. It said, please buff, I don't think it was a Treant one, but it said, please buff Treant. he really wants Treant to come back, and
I think that hero's already decent. I think it's in a good place.
Zeiss is just the classic. The Morphling kill me. I don't think there is a better effigy than Zeiss one. I don't know.
It is amongst the best. So, BG's lineup versus Secret's lineup. One problem that I don't like too much about BG's lineup is that they don't really have too much kill potential on the Shadow Fiend. I would say that this is actually probably the most classic mid lane matchup that we've seen in this entire tournament is the Shadow Fiend versus Sniper. It used to be old one, but it has been revitalized as both of these heroes have been buffed. I think that Sniper has a slight edge with ganks. I think he has a lot more kill potential on the Shadow Fiend than vice versa, but Shadow Fiend farms a lot faster if left alone. And with Rubik and a Silencer. Rubik doesn't really offer that much damage. I mean, I guess you can throw him back in a Shrapnel, and maybe you don't need any more damage, but generally you want like 2 heroes that can put a lot of pressure on Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, earlier today with Vici Gaming with the Sniper versus SF matchup, they were the ones with the Earthshaker with the Snipers, so they could easily gank the SF. You block the ramp, so he's basically stuck in the river, and it's an easy kill with 2-3 Shrapnels. I don't know if, like you say, the Rubik lift, the pullback feels like it may be enough to do a similar thing, but if Secret have Earthshaker positioned behind the SF at mid lane, it feels like that's not going to succeed.
Yeah, the onus is definitely on the Big God supports because they're going to have to be competing with the Enigma. And if they don't make plays, like if they stack and pull, they're not going to be able to compete with the farm of Enigma. So that means they either have to get kills on the Shadow Fiend, they have to be able to mess with the Enigma, Rubik and Silencer, how are they going to mess with Enigma? So that kind of option is out and maybe gank one of the other heroes. But Clockwork really difficult to kill. I guess it's possible with a Rubik, but still not very easy. And Troll is one of the better laners too. I guess technically they could troll mid, but I don't think so.
Looking at the items, Troll with Wraithband, SF with 2 branches, so does still seem that Arteezy will be going mid with a safe lane Wraithband Troll, not completely unorthodox. So we'll see what happens there. And I definitely agree where it feels like Big God for their supports need to get something done with the Rubik especially. Normally it's Lamb on those playmaking supports. This time around he's on the Silencer, and Silencer to me seems more like a sit bottom with your carry, zone out the offlaner, and stack and pull kind of hero. It's the Rubik who can be more active and actually gank.
It's still a very important hero. I would say Silencer, like, there's so many things that he can interrupt with silence. Like a Clockwork hookshot, boom. You global before the cogs, and then you get an easy kill on Clockwork. You can do it like during Requiem, if Shadow Fiend goes for the Yule's build, which Arteezy does like. Of course, the Black Hole, that's the most obvious one. At the same time, like, Secret can't outplay it. Like, they can Yule's to dispel the global, they can BKB 2 natural BKB heroes on their team, I guess 3 with Enigma, Battle Trance. Like, if you Battle Trance and you fight with that in global, you still might lose the fight. So it's a difficult lineup to execute for Big Gods. I mean, Secrets is also fairly difficult too. Getting Black Holes is going to be a problem. Initiating into a Rubik and a global is going to be difficult. Counter initiating the Batrider. Fissure is like okay, but it's not that great just because he can fly over it. And Clockwork is also not that great, but they're still decent.
They at least have some answers for the ROTK Batrider. We'll see how he does. He was definitely one of the kind of weaker links in Game 1. We actually saw Zhao Wei giving him a few words after that Game 1 in the booth after losing. So possibly giving him a pep talk here, because this is tournament life on the line. Big God were here yesterday. They were down 1-0 against Rave and managed to turn things around in that BO3 series. But it's going to come from everyone. ROTK going to be going the offlane Batrider. We can introduce our 2 teams here now that we actually are paused. So on the Radiant side, it will be Team Big God. Burning, the B-God himself, going to be playing the Juggernaut. Boots first for him. Ice on the Rubik. ROTK going to be on the Batrider. And in the back, it's going to be Lamb on the Silencer. Finally, leaving Mr. Zhao Wei on the solo mid sniper. For the Dire side, it's going to be Team Secret up 1-0 here in the lower bracket. Zai going offlane on the Clockwork. It's going to be S4 with the Wraithband first on the Troll Warlord. Arteezy on the Shadow Fiend. Kuroki once more on the Earthshaker. And that leaves Puppey on the Enigma to round off Team Secret. So
it's an aggressive build from Big God. They have 3 boots, 1 on Ice, 1 on Burning, 1 on ROTK. I mean, I guess it's not really aggressive for Batrider, but still aggressive from their 2 safe laners, Rubik and Juggernaut. And it's still difficult to get a kill on Clockwork, but you kind of do need boots to deal with this 315 move speed.
Is there any chance Big God go for an offensive trial in this game, or are they going to be more settled just to sending ROTK to the offlane? I guess on top of that, do you feel like it would be a good idea if they did do it?
I mean, that is one of the ways, I guess, in theory, to punish an Enigma. At the same time, I think it's just going to be difficult. I guess last game, though, I thought it would be difficult, but they still made it work. Is it worth it? I think that bottom lane's already pretty easy for the Clockwork. You can just, like, Rubik Lip into spin, and then if he cogs, he's still dead.
We saw what happened when ROTK goes 1v1 against Zai as well. Zai's been one of the standout players of this tournament. Him and Ice, I would say the 2 best offlaners out there right now, and probably giving Ice the slide edge. We haven't really seen all of what Zai's capable of in the offlane, because it's only been this tournament where he's been playing offlane, before this being on the support role for EG. But
MLGNA, dude. Remember? We casted him.
Oh, yeah? Back in the old...
he was big.
What was that? That wasn't Pretty Boy Swag. That was...
Stay Free.
Stay Free. Him and PPD. In the old days.
No, him and Corey.
Was it PPD not on that team for a while?
I don't think so. I think it was
Corey, Trouf.
Yeah, I don't remember the other 2, though. I don't think it was PPD.
All right. Well, he's come a long way since then. Since those days. The MLG Full Sail days. And, well, here he is. Team Secret. Playing for $3 million at the Dota 2 Asia Championships. Over $1 million for first place, and both these teams in the top 4 right now, which is already an accomplishment in itself. The crazy thing is there, just looking at the plays in their booths, neither of these teams is sponsored. Just seeing 2 teams of young adults in t-shirts and whatever they want. Arteezy's still wearing his EG shirt, and here they are at the top 4 of one of the biggest tournament of the year apart from TI. Just casually in t-shirts.
Sponsors don't offer enough.
Yeah.
Because if they take a 10% cut of their winnings, let's say 10%, I say that's like a pretty small cut, I would say. Like agents and whatnot may take a little bit more, but let's just say 10%. 10% is $100,000. And if you're not paying that much in salary, like it's not even worth it for the players. And keep in mind, this is just one tournament.
Yep.
So I mean, it depends on how confident you are in your team. If they offer like a meager salary, you're like, okay, that's probably more than we're going to get in prize winnings. But these teams, they are very confident moving into DAC. And I mean, I would say going in, Secret, EG, and Vici, they're your top 3 going in. I didn't exactly know who the 4th team was going to be. Big God had a decent showing in the qualifiers, but I didn't suspect that they'd be 4th.
So you had faith that the EG roster would do well. I know a lot of people had some questions about how EG would do with the changes.
Sumail, after playing against him many times in NAL and watching a couple of his games, he is definitely worthy of a replacement for RTZ.
Even just seeing him in interviews, the way he just talks and composes himself, he's obviously very young, kind of seems a bit immature, but he reminds me of like what Dendy used to be like when he was that age. Just this crazy talented kid, a bit awkward at times socially, but you can just see he has the right mind for the game. He's got incredible skills with how he plays. I mean, he definitely seems like someone who's going somewhere with Dota right now.
And of course, Aoi and Zai. I mean, PPD talked about it. He talked about how Aoi had a lot of overlap in the heroes with Zai, and that both of them had very similar playstyles. Like somewhat greedy, they can play the junglers, the Chen, the Visage. They have good micro, so I think that's more than suitable replacement.
Oh man, we got some more cosplays today here at the DAC desk. We're going to step up our game here at BTS.
Yeah.
Well, me personally, perhaps. When's the Zeus cosplay happening?
And just dye my hair white and put on a beard. Or just buy a Mario costume from Amazon.
He looks like a gym instructor. I don't know.
He looks like a lot of things that aren't the Lord of Olympia. That's for sure.
Watching that hero just like prance around in the map still makes me chuckle. Well, waiting for our TZ to reconnect here. As we'll see how things pan out here. And for now, Big God down 1-0, but you've got such veteran players on their team. It doesn't seem to be something that will impact them. I don't think they're going to look at this and feel like they're under pressure. They're not going to be that rattled. Sure, Zhao 8 was giving RTK a piece of his mind maybe after that game 1, but it's the kind of thing which is constructive. Zhao 8's led teams to TI championships. RTK was in the grand finals against him. I think that's kind of the coolest thing about this team. Is that you have the 2 captains from the TI4 finals with RTK and Zhao 8 together, but perhaps too many drafting minds behind things here.
Oh, I think their drafts have been fine.
Yeah.
RTK. I mean, they pull it back amazingly well. Though. I'm very surprised that they stuck in the game they kept the game so close for so long.
It felt like they got that game 1 back to even at one point, or at least very close to even, and then a few good decisions and just good fights for Secret, and suddenly they lost 2 lanes of racks, essentially. And also, Burning having an off game. I mean, you can kind of pinpoint RTK a bit for some misplays in lane, getting killed twice by Zai, but I think Burning was kind of the biggest surprise as far as his performance in game 1, which was uncharacteristic.
Yeah, I think Xiaowei, Lanum, I mean, Ice Ice couldn't really do that much. I think everyone played pretty well in that game, though. Of course, mistakes, but overall, very fantastic play.
Ice Ice has been really good on this team as well. I've been very impressed by his play. There's no game where I look at him and be like, oh, he made mistakes. He let his team down here, or he died too much. Every time I see him, he's got some of the lowest deaths in the game. He's in the right place at the right time. He's just doing what you need to do as a support. He doesn't play the playmaking supports, which is where he plays at like that Fenrir type role where he's not making the flashy plays like FY does. He's not playing your Sand Kings or Rubik's, but he's always good and consistent. As I say that, he's playing Rubik this game. Generally, it's Lamb playing the Rubik, the Lion, and the initiating type support heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, TZ will come back in. Just need to fix up some hotkeys after reconnecting back into the game. Team Secret looking to make a run through the lower bracket. As you kind of mentioned, one of the teams that was always in the discussion for being a top 3, and seeing the games here, it feels like them and Vici Gaming, the especially strong teams. You put Secret versus EG. Should Secret win this series? Do you feel like that's a close series, or do you think Secret has an edge?
I think that's pretty close.
Okay.
I think people underestimate EG a little bit just because, I don't know, I guess Sumail is probably a big question mark for a lot of people, but I think that His Storm is really, really good. I think some of his other heroes aren't that good, which is why people just straight up ban Storm in the first phase instead of just drafting against it. But yeah, I think that he's maybe a little bit underrated at the moment. People think of like new and stuff as like bad, but sometimes it's a lot better. Like Secret with this new roster performed amazingly well thus far as EAC. EG with 2 kind of replacements also done very, very well.
I don't feel like there's been any games where, I mean, there's been 1 or 2 games where Sumail got really like pressured heavily and maybe died 4 or 5 times, and EG didn't do too well, like one of the games against Vici Game, but he never makes big misplays. The only one that comes to mind is when he got solo killed by Arteezy in the EG versus Secret game, where it felt like he was trying to do too much in lane, but for the most part, to me, the games EG have been losing have never come on the back of a poor performance from Sumail. He's been very consistent, very good. Looks like the hotkey woes continue for Mr. Artur Babev.
Yeah, who would you say your top 4 was coming into the tournament? I know you guys had the pre-show.
I wasn't on the pre-show. I think I would have said Vici Gaming for sure. Team Secret. I wouldn't have had EG. I would have probably had IG maybe in there.
But they had Chizbug.
I think even with Chizbug, I think they were. Coming in, I thought they were really solid. Even how they played, I think they were really solid. They just kind of fell apart because they just didn't really have that belief and trust in each other. I think the team just kind of self-imploded to some extent. At least towards the end, like when they lost to Rave, that just kind of summed up. I don't know. Oh, it had Newbie, of course. Newbie would have been.
Oh
in my
yeah,
top
Newbie
4.
was my top 4.
Yeah.
That's actually.
So I would
true.
have had Newbie, IG, Secret, as well as Vici Game.
Vici.
Those would be my top 4. I think. I mean, I can say that now, but I don't know what I would have thought.
IG has just been too inconsistent for me in the past like 3 or 4 months for me to.
And you're a Lua hater.
I am a Lua. I am also a Lua.
Every IG game I walk past, I just hear you talking about Lua. Oh, Lua's Invoker, you don't remember that. Oh, Lua's Anti-Mage. Good things June's on the Anti-Mage.
Do you remember his Invoker? Do you remember that Chronosphere play?
In this tournament?
It was I think it was TI group stage. TI4 group stage. It was a really, really important moment in the game. I think it was versus Na'Vi. They actually lost versus Na'Vi because of that. It was like, oh my goodness, that I remember that so vividly.
He's had some really good Exort Invoker games when he's had more good games than bad games. To me, Luo's impressive because he's actually kept the IG team together despite all like the personalities and ego on the team, perhaps.
That's not.
He's been a good draft. I think his draft has been solid.
That's a coach's job, not a player's job.
Well, someone had to do it.
His job is to win games, dude.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Here we go. It looks like things have settled, and the draft's now going to unravel.
I think Big God's warding last game actually cost him a lot. Too.
Yeah,
they had to use smokes every time to get kills as opposed to good vision. They had the one pick on Artur in the 45-minute plus because of one observer ward, but that is one thing that I think that Secret's been doing much, much better. Puppy died a lot. I think he was like 0 and 7 at one point in the game, but he had good wards up. They were able to control Roshan, sneak some in that they weren't supposed to, and the warding, and they were also able to de-ward the safe lane spawn too. So like a lot of the warding has just been so much better for Big God. I forgot what other team had really poor warding. IG also had really, really poor warding.
All right, well, things will unravel here. Both supports doing the blocks in the mid lane as SF and Sniper both get a bounty rune apiece, which will make Sniper's time in this mid lane a bit easier, although one creep has been denied by your Enigma to start things off. So they're going to dual lane mid. Silence are going to start here. Zhao Wei going to go onto the high ground here and get complete dominance over Arteezy to start things off. This is not going to be a fun lane for Shadow Fiend at this rate, although with Silencer now moving out, it looks like he can actually start getting a bit more aggressive in lane.
Yeah, and with it deny, I mean, it's going to be pushed up to his wave, so there's only minimal impact that he can have on there.
Early shrapnel coming out, and
bottom
Arteezy.
lane, Zai gets spun on.
Ooh, spin to win. Ice Ice, he gets him inside the cogs, and that Rubik going to get your first blood.
Double boots paying off.
All right, Rubik having boots, Burning having boots, and it's Rubik getting the last hit on that kill, so really nice start for Team Big God here in Game 2. RTK at top getting some decent XP, has the creep wave in a good position as well, and He should be able to do okay here. Up against a dual lane, and one of those two heroes being the Earthshaker means they can't really do too much to push him out of the lane. Even if Troll is one of the better kind of zoning carry heroes, having the slow as well as the battle axes.
Yeah, he can't get Fissure blocked unless he has Firefly down. Oh, that's a nice Fissure. Block that creep pull.
Okay.
So you see Silencer go for level 1 Last Word instead of level 1 Glaze. It's debatable as to which one's better. Glaze of Wisdom with the Orb Harass is really good against the melee heroes and shorter range heroes like Shadow Fiend. At the same time, Last Word does do a lot of damage.
It's got that long cooldown, but yeah, if you're only coming into harass for a short amount of time, the Last Word's better. If you can like constantly spam your glaives, then I imagine in the long run that'll do a bit more. It also means you have to get a point in the glaives, which he is now going to do at level 2. So he's got the zoning glaives now. And the 2-minute runes comes up. DD rune for your
ROTK
Shadow
on top
Fiend.
lane gets fissured.
Should be okay here. As he'll get over the Fissure. As you mentioned, very hard to kill him because Fissure is, well, it's on a block when you're against a Bat Rider.
Well, the little scuffle in the mid early, not too big of a deal. Arteezy was able to get his bottle and secure DD rune, so his CS should be a-okay in that aspect.
It's going to come down. Something that Big God can decide to do is bring in the Rubik early on to go for a gank on Arteezy. He's going to be the one hero with a couple shrapnels that can help set up that kill. Arteezy already with Bootso to go with that bottle. At least going to have some extra survivability with that. And Sniper, winning the last hit battle, didn't go for any kind of boots or bottle. He went straight into that Ring of Aquila to give him that mana regen for the shrapnel spam, not to mention that good damage and just cost effectiveness of the Ring of Aquila.
BG was also able to deward the Observer Ward that Zai plays, so this is really good for their supports. They weren't able to take advantage of this last game because they were aggressive.
Did cost them both sentries, but hey, at least they make sure they take it out of the picture. Puppey on the Enigma in the jungle. Going to be just looking to kind of power farm as he normally would.
He is the fastest farmer on Enigma that I've seen in competitive, and consistently so.
I think AUI has also been very impressive on this here at times.
Yeah, he hasn't played it too much recently.
But not much recently. Back in the day when he used to play it a lot, like on Cloud9 and his previous teams.
He is so fast with his jungle. Level 5.
Oh my god, a bash from S4. He's going to maybe get a kill on RTK. Goes to the rainform. RTK not going to find the deny.
Close.
That, I mean, I can't even blame RTK. Got first hit bashed there by the troll. Shrapnel going to lead things off in the mid lane. Arteezy gets slowed. He gets pulled back in. Zhao Wait has another shrapnel. Nope, not going to go for this kill. Decides too close to the tower, and Arteezy will avoid that one. Probably had a pretty good idea that a gank like that was going to be coming his way. And he's going to be forced into possibly bottle crowing here as his two teammates take the runes, unable to really secure them for the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, I mean, Big God had, I would say, a decent window to gank Arteezy, but they haven't really been able to do that much. They did get one kill on Zai, but I'm not sure if that's enough for their early game, at least, to offset the farm of the Enigma. Level 6 in under 4.5 minutes for Puppey.
4.5 is like the dream.
4.5 is really good. I think 5.5 is what I would consider good, and then 4.5 is just, I mean, I guess it's standard for Puppey.
He doesn't even, like, straight up rush. Like, he goes soaring first, but he starts with Tengos, he starts with the branches, Sentry Wards, Observer Wards.
Black Hole?
So you get a kill. It's probably an okay Black Hole, but right now, Puppey, low on mana, can't even, he's already used his soaring as well.
He usually Black Holes the mid laner.
Yeah. He also, the other thing is, the way he jungles this is when he gets level 6, he never really has mana to use the Black Hole, even with the soaring. Like, he could opt to not use like a conversion slowdown in his jungle and smoke mid, but all he has is the Black Hole. He won't have like a he won't have the Eidolons plus a Black Hole, generally speaking.
So the levels on BG are suspect. 3.5 on the Rubik and level 3 flat on the Silencer. And I mean, even Kuro is getting a lot of levels. ROTK gets hit on the other side of the fissure.
This fool tanks a few tower shots here. He's got phase boots though, so looking to get very aggressive in lane. Speaking of phase boots, Sniper also picks him up in the mid lane and probably going to try to get even more aggressive on Arteezy, is hoping that someone can maybe rotate in to help find a kill here, finally, on the Shadow Fiend, but so far, no luck.
Goldgraph, BG only had a lead because they got the first kill, but aside from that, it's been Secret coming out ahead due to Enigma's economy, and Secret also has been better about controlling the runes, even a 6-minute rune going both to Secret immediately.
It feels like all of these games that Secret are picking Enigma, they're just getting completely away with the Enigma jungle here. We'll see Zhao Wei maybe get caught out here. There's a black hole available. Puppey looking for it, but there's a lift up and doesn't get it off immediately. Gets the Malefice onto Zhao Wei. Black hole catches 2 now, and there's no lift left. The Razor's coming from the Logan. Arteezy gets 2 onto your silencer. Zhao Wei phase boots looking to run away. Until another raise comes up, Arteezy will not be able to get this kill. At least it doesn't look like it. Phase boots up in a second, gets the raise off. The long-range raise finds your sniper, and it's a double kill for Arteezy. 3 kills in total go Secret's way there.
And that was a sick black hole.
Yeah. Waited till the telekinesis was on cooldown as well.
I didn't think it was going to get sniper. It was so close.
Puppey, one of the best and, well, most played heroes of his, as well as he's played this hero more than anyone else in competitive Dota by a good margin. And right now, he's off to a fantastic start. Has 860 gold. Will almost definitely be going for that signature just mech that you always see in Enigma. No real questions about that.
And now the supports fall even further behind. They went for a kill, and they weren't able to get any, and now the time has passed where they can like really safely pull without having too much opportunity cost in the side lanes.
ROTK has got so much more out of the offlane compared to the Clockwork, though. Clockwork was still level 3. He's actually rotated to the top lane to now take the safe lane farm to pick up his level 4. He's not going to farm anywhere near as well as the Batrider, and that's the one thing I feel at least the Big God supports did accomplish. They got Jug free farm while zoning out the Clockwork. So sure, this Enigma free farm, but I feel Bat getting as much as he did out of the offlane compared to the Clockwork, I don't know if you can say it makes up for it, but at least it's some kind of advantage that Big God have.
And Juggernaut is actually really fat too. Phase Mask of Madness already up, and he has switched to jungling so that Ice can finally pick up some experience in the lane. They really need level 6 on their supports so that Enigma can't just walk in and black hole 2 people without fear of dying. Arteezy picks up an invisibility rune. No observer wars to spot out. This could be another death for ROTK.
Oh no, there's no Requiem of Souls, but just some raises will be more than enough here. Troll going to come in with a slow, and 1 raise, 2 raise. Not even going to need the second raise. Clockwork gets the Rocket Flare kill, so Zai even gets XP for that one. From afar, that gets him up to level 5.5. He's approaching that hookshot point, and he picks up some treads, a magic stick.
Yeah, just as you say, ROTK was doing so much better than Zai. Now the tides have turned.
Suddenly, Clockwork is 500 net worth ahead of the Batrider. Assassinate going to lead things off here in the mid lane. Omni Slash to follow. Burning gets a straightforward kill, actually going the way of the sniper, and they're going to look to bring down the tier 1 tower. Puppey rotating in. He's going to just drop the Midnight Pulse and possibly just look for a deny here with S4's Troll also in the neighborhood. And the Omni Slash on cooldown. This is not really a fight that Big God can take. They're going to lose Zhao Wei. If he's not careful, he gets triple raised by, or double raised by Arteezy. That's all they needed. As the tier 1 tower should get denied here. Maybe leaving alive for a bit longer. No. Arteezy goes back for it and picks up his Staff of Wizardry on the way to a Yule Scepter.
Well, that's level 6 on Zai as a tower deny, and I mean, 2 of Big God's kills have just been on unimportant heroes too. Like Clockwork dying at level 1, not that important, and a kill on the Earthshaker, not that important too, whereas they've had a lot of kills on the Batrider and really slowing down his Blink Dagger.
Well, Zai off the mark with his first hookshot game. TP bottom knowing that Rubik is kind of alone at bot, trying to get some farm and XP, and Rubik does manage to avoid it. Did have the lane ward to help him out.
I mean, Big God just haven't been able to really limit S4's farm or Shadow Fiends or Enigmas for that point. So they have like 3 really farmed heroes, whereas Big God, like Sniper is kind of getting there and Juggernaut is definitely there. And they really need the Batrider, though, to start initiating ganks. Their whole lineup comes together as soon as he gets his lasso into like a Global Silence or, I mean, just Global Silence to cover them for team fights. But it has not gotten to that point, and it might come too late for them.
Yeah, he's got some neutral stacks going on thanks to the supports, and this blink timing is going to be essential for them. Sniper's already starting to struggle, is behind on farm compared to the Shadow Fiend by a big margin, has died a couple of times recently, still doesn't have his Mask of Madness, the Sniper, so the Bat needs to come online, and then ROTK and Burning need to team up like they once did many years ago and just try and find kill after kill and kind of get Big God some momentum back into this game.
They almost have a Yules on Shadow Fiend. This might come out before the Batrider's blink, which is going to be terrible for him.
And then killing the Shadow Fiend gets a whole lot harder. You can't just straight up Omni Slash him. He can self-Yules to dodge a lot of it. there's just going to be a lot of answers, not just defensively, but even in using it to initiate. He can kill heroes like the ROTK Batrider with the Yule's Requiem of Souls combo. The supports become food.
And it's really bad because that's one thing that can own the global. Like if they Batrider initiate like Blink Lasso global, Yules will just counter it all. One Yules on the Batrider.
Yep.
So this game's getting really scary for Big God. At the same time, I felt like they were in this similar position 11 minutes into the last game, but this time they don't really have that like big team fight potential that ROTK brought to the table.
It's not going to be team fight. I guess it's going to be the pick-off potential, which for Secret, they've got really good defensive heroes, both Earthshaker and Clockwork. I mean, you've got a Fissure, you've got Clockwork who can sit behind. I feel like both these heroes offer at least a decent amount of just protection to your core heroes. Bottom lane is where Big God are looking to now apply some pressure here as Secret group up, have a smoke available, and Puppey may be thinking they can smoke into a Roshan here. Seems to be waiting for a creep wave to get his Eidolons, and yep, he'll convert. He'll pop the smoke, and into Roshan he goes. 2-hero Roshan. They'll probably leave other heroes showing on the map to make this not as obvious for Big God to figure out.
ROTK doesn't have his blink. I don't think they can make a move, but it looks like Lanam is actually going to go in there. The Eidolon smoke actually gets popped there.
Oh, and they can't really bring in those Eidolons. It makes it too obvious now. So without the Eidolons, Roshan I feel like not really as feasible. RTK trapped at top lane. Zai's caught him out with a hook shot, and well, RTK.
Here they go next to Roshan. S4 starts off with Whirling Axis.
Last word comes out onto S4. The assassinate there as well, and he'll get mech'd up by Puppey, who does have a black hole once more, so Big God do want to be a bit cautious about fighting around this Enigma.
Still a botched smoke attempt by Secret.
If they'd gotten Aegis there with the Troll and Enigma, that would have given Secret the ability to start taking down tier 1 towers, taking kind of more aggressive fights, and Big God I feel like would have been in a lot of trouble.
Oh no, ROTK died before he got his blink yet again.
Up to 2k gold, and we'll buy a TP scroll, so it gets him even further away from that blink dagger. As Rubik manages to get his hands on a Shadow Race.
It kind of sucks when you steal only one of the rays.
Yeah. If you get a triple raise on Rubik, that'd be some fun. That'd make playing Rubik against Shadow Fiend amazing.
Well, Secret is still hovering around that bottom half of the map, and Big God this time they have superior warding. Look at their wards, one in mid lane, one on the bottom maroon, and one on that high ground right next to the Roshan pit, knowing that Secret really want control of that area, and knowing that Big God should have the upper hand fighting around there. They have the Batrider, they have the Omni Slash, they have Shrapnel for vision and for choke points. It should be very difficult for Secret to maneuver around there.
It's something we've seen especially out of the Western teams here at DAC. Secret, Cloud9 probably more than anyone, even EG. These teams love to try and go for these early Roshans where they smoke in, generally with just maybe 2 heroes. They don't commit their whole team. They try and do it when their opponents aren't expecting it. And that's something which Big God seem to have caught onto with the warding and with their position around the bottom lane and the Roshan pit.
Looks like they are pinging out on the high ground. They really want to deward it. Earthshaker does have a sentry ward, but has not yet placed it.
For now, not going to get dewarded, and it's Big God smoking up. Now looking to look to make a move towards bottom. ROTK with Blink Dagger in hand. Puppey's a pretty good target to get here with this. He's got an Ogre Club though, so he's very tanky with the mech as well, but if you get a clean initiation off...
I don't know if he's a good target. That's the thing. He has a lot of
maybe?
HP.
Oh, they go in. They don't get the lasso immediately. They get it now. Here comes your Clockwork with a hook shot. Zhao Wei gets the hook in, but there's a global silencer for this one. Puppey going to survive. Jug gets the kill on the Kuro Earthshaker. That was over near the Roshan pit. As it looks like the Enigma will survive. Did have to use the mech, and both Puppey and S4 very low in HP. This tier 1 tower likely to go down here as Arteezy just waiting on the side. Will go for the knight, but they see him here. This Observer Ward has not been dealt with at all.
You have to just have a sentry there, just in case. Like they can't afford to have that vision while they're pushing the T1, or while they're defending the T1 rather. Well, at the end of the day, Secret, I think that could have gone a lot worse for them.
Yeah, Puppey barely surviving the lasso initiation. Maybe if the global silence comes before the hook shot, they get the kill, but at the same time, they probably also want to have Zai get forced in and then pop the global silence and try to go for multiple there. So it was a pretty well executed fight for Big God. They just couldn't quite get the kills they were after there. Importantly, it was Sniper who got hookshotted as well.
I think they're
'cause
gathering out for a smoke right now. Puppy has one in his inventory. 4 people grouped up. Here they go.
Did do it outside of the ward range. Lamb going to pop a sentry ward up there as well. He's now inside the pit, which... Okay, it looks like it's going to be okay. They're not going to go into Roshan with this smoke. They're trying to find kills here in the Radiant jungle. Big God know that Secret are not in Roshan here, though. So they're going to huddle towards the top of the map and also play fairly defensively, knowing that there's a lot of heroes missing off of the map. It looks like this smoke gank is going to be unsuccessful as far as finding a pick off. It will open up this bottom tier 1 tower, but it looks like that's going to be a bit of a trade here. Big God pressuring top lane, Secret pressuring bottom, and Secret also feeling like they can work on Roche.
Let's see what ultimates are up for Big Guy. They do not have Omni Slash. They do not have Silencer ulti. Both of them cool down in about 20 seconds time. And the ward gets spotted out by Puppy.
Oh, there's a Shadow Blade on Jug, though. Is he going to make a move towards the pit here?
Not when they have
No.
double sentry there.
It's at back on the courier. And yeah, double sentries are available. Mech gets used. A fairly slow Roshan, but I guess Big God just respecting the fact they didn't have Global, they didn't have Omni Slash. Both of those 2 spells come up now. At the same time, they were probably expecting Secret to finish this Roshan much faster. Hookshot in, going to catch out Lamb on the Silencer. Flame Break will actually push out your Clockwork, but Lamb will get taken out anyway. Zai breaks his own cogs in. There we go. Finally, Roshan goes down. Arteezy, I think, getting the solo kill on XP on that one. He's level 14 all of a sudden. They were happy just to, I think, give him, yeah, the solo XP and get him a huge boost to his current status.
So now they have the Shadow Blade on Juggernaut, a slightly unusual pickup, but it is really important for scouting for ganks. They'd ideally like to kill Enigma before the fight even starts.
Speaking of Enigma, he's going to find a solo kill here on the Rubik.
Okay, too easy.
Secret just finding a few too many freebies every now and then, it feels like. And you go back to that game 1 where Big God kind of had great mid-game play all in all, but just 1 or 2 bad pickoffs in the late game, and that really cost him. We're kind of seeing a similar thing here. It's much earlier on, but just unnecessary pickoffs, and Secret just slowly clawing further and further ahead with Roshan, with towers, with small kills. Big God need to start getting active themselves. ROTK going to get scouted out, hit by the Malefice here, and there's a Fissure from Kuro available as well. The last tick from the Malefice will proc the Fissure to follow, and ROTK may just need to back out.
0 kills on ROTK's Batrider, 0 assists. And they've been handling him very well. I mean, they have the Yules on Shadow Fiend in case he doesn't initiate on him. The Enigma's really, really tanky. Who exactly does he go on here?
There's
Troll
no
has
easy
SNY.
answer to it. And they're going to use the Bat in tandem with the Silencer. One of those nice little 2-hero synergies where you can...
Hook shot into mid.
Oh, Lamb. Again, deja vu from the Radiant jungle. He's just being hunted down by Zion. Speaking of hunted down, Ice Ice on the Rubik. Going to run into this as well. It's the Enigma from Puppy, finding him once more. Literally deja vu. Different location, exact same outcome. Clockwork hooks the Silencer. Puppy finds the Rubik.
Yeah, they are just giving so many freebies. I mean, generally you don't think of support kills as that much, but support kill and then another support kill and happening over and over again is just really problematic. Bernie can't carry this 1v5.
You'll find a kill on the Kuro Earthshaker, who couldn't handle the Omni Slash.
Oh, Sniper's actually getting pretty big.
Is keeping up. He's actually out-farming S4. Only the Shadow Fiend who's actually ahead of him. So the 2 main carries for Big God are actually in a really good position. End of the day, though, they can't fight without the initiations working from ROTK. You can't win this game or take a team fight if ROTK is not getting crisp, clean initiations, which so far Secret have been able to prevent.
And on top of that, Secret's supports, again, scale better into the late game. BKB Black Hole can be a trunk card versus Global, and Earthshaker with his Echo.
This is still, I feel like normally it's, normally you look at Enigma being a great late gamer, but 3 ultis that go through the BKB Black Hole. One of them steals the Black Hole in the case of the Rubik. There's still some, I mean, that kind of makes this Enigma in the late game just not quite as scary as the hero would normally be.
I mean, still, just as farm, he can be a tank in front and just absorb a lot of the damage from that Shadow Fiend or Troll would normally be absorbing. His net worth is like 4 times the net worth of the Silencer right now. And he is extremely difficult to kill, and he's been taking down so many towers. He can also split push out lanes, whereas Silencer and Rubik can't really do so.
Bottom lane, Zai gets caught out by, well, ROTK's first kill of the game as he gets the assist for that one. Silencer gets the last hit, and Ice will TP himself out. The Fissure coming too late to cancel that, so a 1-for-1 trade. The Clockwork going down mid lane though. Shadow Fiend in trouble, has an Aegis here. He's going to lose that, and Burning, no Omni Slash, or he may have gone for a second kill. Actually, he's going to go back. They drop the Shrapnel, and Burning wants to try and fight. Requiem of Souls, pump faked by Arteezy.
Ooh, if Burning had more mana and is cooled on an Omni. Whew.
That's
scary.
A double death for Arteezy in that case.
I guess technically he can Yules dodge it, but I don't think it lasts long enough to block the entire duration of
level
it.
2, yeah, it'd be close. Level 3, I'd say, is surely dead, but ROTK now with the Force Staff. Going to run into Arteezy. The Yules is there, and oh no, Force Staff will get him to the low ground. That freshly purchased item will save his life. Puppey taking a lot of damage from the Zhao 8 Sniper. It's going to cancel off the Assassinate, but that may not matter. Burning still chasing deep. He's going to get solo Black Hold here. The Global Silence comes in now as well. Burning, no mana for an Omni Slash, unfortunately. The cooldown is up, but he needs a boost to his mana pool. On the backlines, it's the Arteezy Shadow Fiend battling it out with ROTK. Assassinate not going to finish anyone off. There's Arteezy still with a BKB in hand. We'll get back to safety. No casualties on either side there. Burning just not having the mana for the Omni Slash. Otherwise, I feel like he could have gotten probably multiple kills for his team out of that fight.
Yeah, Juggernaut's a pretty mana-intensive hero since he never has to go heal. And then with the Shadow Blade on top, he used it like when he was taking the Ancients down too. So he just doesn't have enough mana. That's generally where you need a few Arcane Boots, but they only have one.
Are they going to catch Arteezy here? ROTK with a really nice move into the enemy jungle here. It comes close to Arteezy, but narrowly misses him. That would have been a nice pick-off if he found him there.
I don't know if they can kill him, though, without
a
having
+1,
BKB.
yeah. S4's purchased a Blink Dagger on his Troll now, which is going to help him just jump from camp to camp as well as get kind of nicer initiations off. The Sniper at the backlines is such a problem at times for Secret, and that's where having a Blink on your carries is going to help out a lot as far as dealing with this Sniper.
And he's going to have his BKB soon, too. Can he deal with a Blink Battle Trance Troll in his face, though? I don't know.
That's where your Rubik Telekinesis comes into play. We're now going to see Sniper get caught out here. Zhao gets Force Staff to the side, doesn't get to the low ground. The Cogs push him down, though. He will end up dying here. They're going to lose Zai in the process. Cogs get stolen. Ice Eyes going to block the chase from Team Secret. In comes your Requiem. Burning, going to Omni Slash, cancels it. Needs the RNG. Doesn't get back to Arteezy. Arteezy will drop the ultimate now, and Big God not going to chase into that. Very close to getting that kill on the Shadow Fiend. If you got a bit luckier maybe with the jumps on the Omni Slash, but
I thought he was going to spin and right-click onto Shadow Fiend. That was close. There were a lot of creeps there. That would have required an amazing streak of RNG to kill him. There were like him and like 5 creeps, I think.
Well, Secret have now managed to get some good map control up themselves. This is the stage of the game. Okay, I was just about to say, you need gems here. If you're looking to take fights, you're Big God, you've got most of your core items, you need to take away the vision that Secret have. Similarly for Secret, would not be surprised to see them pick up a gem on their team. They don't have as good a gem carrier as someone like a Batrider, but still an item I see them needing fairly soon.
They still need more picks from Batrider.
Yeah, ROTK is just... He's had a hard time this game. The Secret lineup very well equipped at dealing with a Batrider, and as things stand, it's going to be Kuro walking down the mid lane with an Invis Rune. He's going to walk into a gem of ROTK. The lasso's already been used. The Yules comes too late. They kill off Kuro. Nice pick off there. The gem coming into play already for Team Big God. And that is a nice start.
Yeah, that's a kind of unavoidable death for Earthshaker, and that will really set him back on his path to Blink Dagger. 100 gold on the Earthshaker.
Yeah, last game we saw him with like a 25, 30-minute Blink Dagger. This time around, he's on practically 0 gold at that stage of the game.
I mean, initiating against Global is already hard enough for Earthshaker. Initiating against Global without a Blink Dagger. Good luck with that.
Yeah. So we'll see the gem being picked up by the Secret side now. RTK blinks to the high ground, finds the sentry, but did not find the lane ward in the top lane. Did not walk close enough to scout that out, so...
Big God need Roshan. I think they have to be able to sneak it in with Burning at some point or another. And that's where ROTK really needs to turn up the pressure so that Secret can't beat around that area at all without being scared.
Oh, hookshot going to come in. They catch up. Burning here. The global silence being used. He's going to Blade Fury. Try to get out of this one. Here comes Puppey with a BKB black hole. He says no Omni Slash for you. Puppey has to commit a lot to get that kill, but it's a pretty big kill to be getting, especially if Roshan respawns soon. It could open up Secret to take ages for themselves.
That is such a risky place to go with the...
They're looking to fight. They catch out S4. The Blink Lasso is there. S4 going to go down. The Yule Scepter not enough. And Arteezy now be forced to pop his BKB. Requiem Assaults comes out. Gets stolen by Ice. And the Assassinate will finish off your Earthshaker. Burning wants to chase. He's got an Omni Slash. He's going to chop down Arteezy. If Arteezy isn't careful, the Cogs perfectly placed. RTK blinks to the high ground, but Arteezy may look to fight him if he's not careful. Napalm continuing to slow as the chase is on. Arteezy, no BKB, only has the Yule Scepter and won't even get a chance to pop it. He pops.
Wow, amazing chase by Big God there, and ROTK makes a big play by lassoing S4. Defender tries to come out to save him, but it's just not a good enough counter-initiate.
Good buyback in the end by Burning, knowing there was no BKB Black Hole.
Oh,
They're hoping for a Roshan respawn. They walk out pretty much as it's about to come back up. Okay, about 15 seconds or so. I guess Burning will farm the Ancients and then may go look to scout this one out, but...
I don't know if they can take it, though. With
40 seconds on Shadow Fiend. Burning actually picks up a point booster. He's going for an Ag Scepter, not an item.
It could be Scotty.
We see that actually seems much more standard, but...
I think Scotty's better here, just so he doesn't die during a spin. He needs the armor. He also needs the HP.
Roshan now going to respawn. Burning walks in and does see it, I believe.
They have to deward this area. ROTK has to go over here. Like, that ward being up there for so long, especially when Burning died there last time because of a Sentry and an Obs, right when Roshan is about to respawn, that thing has to go down right now.
Well, the Radiant team drop a ward of their own, which I believe...
5-man smoke by Dire.
I mean, this is the time. They know Roshan Aegis is coming up. Big God, unlikely to go into the Roshan pit immediately.
ROTK, go deward!
Oh.
Oh no, this is... If they were smoking, I would see why they would make this play, but they can't approach without that ward dewarded without a smoke.
This still feels like a good timing for Big God. There's no Black Hole from Puppey, and they've got Global Silence back up. And even when he has the Black Hole...
Arteezy.
It's very far forward. Assassinate will come out. Oh, gets cancelled. Jiawei does not want to get jumped here. The hookshot going to come in. Can they keep him alive? They need to four-staff him out. They do just do so, but he takes a lot of damage. Jiawei BKBs. He will survive, and now he can turn and right-click. S4 going to go down to the right-clicks of Sniper. The Assassinate is there. The Echo Slam on Burning, and Burning, no solution to the right-click damage of Team Secret. Arteezy now gets lassoed. He uses himself in the air. It's going to be getting dropped now, and without a BKB, it looks like Arteezy going down to this Sniper who managed to survive the initial engagement from Team Secret. They lose 3 in the process. In goes RTK, trapped inside the Cogs. There's an Assassinate coming from your Sniper. It's not going to be enough damage right off the bat. 4 stuff out of the Cogs. 3-for-1 trade so far. The Rocket Flare gets RTK low but doesn't kill him. That Sniper, it's just impressive how much damage he did that entire fight while on less than like 200
I'm
HP.
surprised he didn't die there. That was so close. That initiate by Secret actually owned them. They hookshotted into the Sniper, and then he got forced out, and then he BKB'd, and Troll actually blinked into the Cogs, and then he got trapped in there.
Rubik did 2.7k damage in that team fight with a stolen Requiem of Souls, by the way.
That was big.
Was huge. Not to mention the minus physical damage that puts onto the Troll as well as the Shadow Fiend. Big play coming out from Ice on the Rubik. Lamb now working on a 4-staff of his own.
Shadow Fiend doesn't have an escape plan. He can't ever escape alive from these fights. He just gets chased down with like napalm and shrapnel and whatnot, but at the same time, Burning has taken a couple of consecutive deaths, which makes you wonder what item should he go. Survivability, I mean, does he need BKB at this point?
He was top of the net worth chart for a long time. The good news is they've also managed to keep the Shadow Fiend they've been killing Shadow Fiend. Arteezy's been dying. So while Burning's been dying, so's Arteezy, and Zhao Weight's been getting very farmed on the Sniper.
I don't know what Juggernaut's been dying to. I guess maybe he's like Mask of Madness into them, and I guess if he's Mask of Madness, he's just going to die anyways, but he
mostly just the chain stun from the Earthshaker, it seems. He's going to go Shadow Blading in the top lane. Has an Omni Slash available, but doesn't end up going for the kill.
Oh, was he not able to get Omni Slash off last fight? That actually seems far more likely.
Yeah.
Or what did it just cool down? I'm not
think
exactly sure. I think it just cooled down.
Okay.
But he's still dying a lot in these fights. And Juggernaut, you kind of view as that hero that's supposed to be able to live with a lot of invulnerability, matching invulnerability, and just pure invulnerability, reset with Healing Ward, and then go back in. But he hasn't been able to survive that first volley, which is very detrimental to Big God's team fight. However, they have pulled into the lead in terms of net worth.
Yep. Neither team able to take Roshan just yet. Puppey gonna look to D-ward above the Roshan pit with the help of the Clockwork, giving some rocket flare vision, and Big God once more poke their nose into the Roshan pit and want to make sure they don't keep too many heroes in that top or middle lane. They need to make sure they can contest Secret should they go for Roshan, but Secret going to be looking to force TPs. They're pressuring the top tier 2 tower. But right now, Big God want nothing to do with it. As said, as you mentioned, they pulled ahead 2,500, 3,000-ish XP lead.
This next fight is so important because it sets up Roche for both of the teams, and it also might lead to a lost gem. And neither team has a smoke right now. This is one of the most important fights in the game.
ROTK looking to make a move behind the tower. Has used the Firefly nice and early, but gets scattered up by a Rocket Flare. And it seems the teams will be looking to trade tier 2 towers for the time being.
Far better for Big God.
Yeah, and they could even go into Roshan after this. There's no tier 2s to TP to if you're Team Secret. But what they may look to do is just pressure the high ground now. So TP back from Zhao 8.
The question is, does Secret go into the Roshan pit right now?
I mean, all they can TP to the tier 3. So tier 3's to
Oh
Roshan.
my goodness, Ice almost with the big plays. He almost canceled Arteezy's TP with a fissure. That was half a second, not even half a second, like 0.2 seconds away. That would have been a huge play.
All right, so Secret, they smoke up and looking to make their move. Could go towards Roshan, but already Big God have left top lane, coming nearby. They're going to smoke right into Big God, who are waiting with the high ground advantage for the time being. They haven't scouted out this smoke just yet.
They know what's up, though.
Ice hiding behind a tree there. Now reveals himself. Zai sees him, hook shots in, but this is maybe not the best target to go, and he force ups out of the cogs, and this is going to go badly. S4 blinks in very aggressively. Wants the Zhao 8 sniper. He may be BKB, but he's got to run, and S4 doing a really good job of pressuring him back, but now he's going to get slowed. His BKB actually doesn't have a BKB. Zhao 8 4-staffing around, brings down your Troll Warlord. Elsewhere, it's the Puppey Enigma unable to find a black hole. Still has a BKB, but there's a Rubik Stealth Spell, and now the Omni Slash coming into play. The Fissure going to look to zone out the rest of the team, but Burning gets 2 with the big Omni. 3 on the sidelines, Gem on the ground. Lamb will look to pick that one up, and
wow,
easy Roche.
MVP Force-Staffs. Force-Staff usage by Big God has been incredible. First, the save on the sniper on the bottom lane next to the tier 1, then the save on Ice as he gets hookshotted by Zai, and then the save on Burning. That was the biggest fight yet in this game. That was such a big swing. 3 deaths, Gem exchange hands as well as the Age is exactly the kind of lead that Big God was looking for.
I mean, that looked like the kind of fight which was going to be okay for Secret. Like, S4 kind of keeping the sniper busy, but the rest of the team just couldn't get in there and do anything. No blinks.
They can't fight outside the pit because of Omni Slash. They need Eidolons to tank. They need, like, Mantas, but they don't really have anything to tank Omni Slash outside of lanes.
And you look at Earthshaker and Enigma, neither having a blink dagger, neither able to get into a fight too easily. They just have to try and waddle in, and Big God just kiting to perfection. As you mentioned, great 4-staff usage, and the high ground now being sieged.
Burning stuck on the side.
Gonna look to Blade Fury. He's got ROTK coming in. Hookshot gonna be wasted as there was a Yule Scepter, and Enigma already dead. No black hole now, no buyback for Puppey. Zai gets low. The last word damage could be enough here. Requiem of Soul's going to bring down your sniper, and with sniper dead, at least a lot of the Big God damage has been dealt with. Global Silence as Burning respawns. They may look to fight this one. Nice curse coming in from Lamb, catching out 3, and Kuro gets what? Won't even get the last fissure off. He's going to go down. Arteezy now in trouble. Burning on top of him with some big right-click damage. The Battle Axe is going to go whirling around.
Wow.
Burning to miss some, and that's a dead Shadow Fiend.
Another stolen Requiem by Ice. You talked about this guy before the start of the game.
Well,
that is a big steal. It ended up on Kuro's death, and this game is... wow.
People with Big God talked about which team is Burning going to be joining after the DAC. Which team is Zhao going to be joining? The real question is, where are Lamb and Ice going? These guys have been one of the best support duos of the tournament after maybe FY and Fenrir. These guys have been insane. Because Big God have shown some weaknesses in other areas with their core players at times. But right now,
ROTK has had some big lassos too. They managed to pick off Enigma before he was able to do anything.
well, Puppey going to come in from behind. Once Burning may just go for a solo black hole here, but also to be worried about this Rubik. Rubik being dealt with by Kuro. Chain stuns him for the time being, but ROTK has a Shiver's Guard all of a sudden. Echo Slam from Kuro. The black hole gets used. It gets stolen, but he four-stuffs in. He's going to go for this one. Or will he? He's getting stunned up. 4 hero black hole, but there's no damage. The Flame Break pushes them outside of it almost, and it looked nice,
wow.
but it didn't get too much
Imagine
done.
if he didn't force step in and he was able to save Burning.
If
Oh
he
my
saves
goodness.
Burning and Burning like kills a hero too, that would have been insane. Ice is making the plays happen, even if the outcome on that one wasn't as good as he would have hoped for.
And Secret managed to lose only 2 T3s and 1 set of racks. I'd say, oh no, not that bad after how that last fight went. And again, it seems like Sniper has just had Shadow Fiend's number most of the game. Like they're both like super squishy, but Sniper can stay outside of the fight and get kills without dying, whereas Shadow Fiend, he has to maneuver around the cogs. I actually think the cogs have been more detrimental to Secret than helpful. Like they just force staff out, and then these 2 heroes, the Shadow Fiend and the Troll Warlord, they don't want to waste their uptime like trying to slay cogs to get through to these 4-staffed heroes. They waste so much time not being able to right-click any of these supports. Like, these supports to stay alive so long in the fights. They didn't really have this many items, but now Silencer, he has a Ghost Scepter, he has a 4-staff, Rubik has Blink and 4-staff, all the tools that they really need to deal with a Troll who wants to Zerg him down.
Oh, Lamb going to get caught out, but he has got that 4-staff. Will get out of it initially. Sniper now backing him up as well. Zai going to have to force defensively. When you can't find pickoffs with these clockwork hookshot initiations on support heroes, you're in trouble.
It's just bad because they don't have any long-range damage dealers. Like Troll, he has a Blink Dagger, he has a Blink in there. Shadow Fiend doesn't have a Blink, and he's a low-range hero. So when these fights happen, Zai is pulling his team closer to a position, and BG is fighting in like a fortified position, and the hooked hero gets 4-staffed out. So they're all able to right-click people down. In Secret, they're still trying to move into the fight, and that's like a good 2 or 3 seconds where Big God can do a lot of damage with a squishy damage dealer like Sniper.
Yeah, the hookshots do seem to split Secret apart when they want to try and play a more condensed team fight here. As the mid lane going to get sieged up, and Burning on the high ground here, going to blink in the Barra. Immediate Yule Scepter. Can they blow up? ROTK does not have a BKB. Went for the Shiver's Guard instead, and ROTK too aggressive in the front line. Is going to drop a gem as well. Hookshot now goes in, catches 2. Burning gets pushed back. He could just get right-clicked down if he's not careful. The Blade Fury preventing any further stuns here. Xiaowei trapped inside the cogs here. That was a much better cogs there. The 4-staff comes maybe a bit too late. The Healing Ward going to finally get dealt with by Arteezy. Omnislash going through. S4 Assassinate from afar brings down your Troll Wallet. The Global Silence now being used, but it's too late to save Burning's life. It's an Echo Slam from Ice. This guy, he keeps stealing these big spells. Maybe it didn't matter once more, but
why
ROTK?
Why?
The Shivers
Get a BKB.
Ooh. It helped out a lot in their last push. It looked nice then, but
He needs BKB.
against Yules, Fissure, everything. The only thing that, the BKB, you can still get hookshotted when you initiate him, but if you get hookshotted, you're not going to die at least.
He has to get a BKB. They were so close to getting that Rax. I think if they had BKB right there, they can kill Arteezy or at least force out like a lot of cooldowns from them and then drag it into a position that they want. Luckily for Big God, there is no Roshan up, but that was a big loss in their momentum swing.
Well, Secret not out of this game just yet. Shadow Fiend on par with your Sniper, your Jug. Still a good amount of farm ahead of your Troll Warlord, who S4's impact this game, he has not been very impactful.
He gets kited way too much.
It was the last pick. It's the first time we've seen S4, I think even Secret, draft Troll Warlord all tournament, and I don't know if there was a better pick available or if it's just come down to maybe S4 not being in the comfort zone, but it's definitely a hero that has not been able to do too much.
I think a lot of the time they expect them to be able to move in and out, but that's where, like, you know, a Bristle who's really tanky, which he's been playing a lot, a Queen of Pain who can blink in and out. Like, I think a lot of times he's stranded on the opposite side, and they expect him to be able to maneuver around himself, and they just have not been on the same page. However, he does almost have a Scotty, and maybe his kiting problems will come to an end with a Mame, Proc, and a Scotty.
He can at least stay alive a bit longer in fights, won't get killed as fast by an Omnislash.
So they lost a gem that fight. Did they pick up another one?
I think they'd stolen a gem earlier in the game.
They need it. They still need a gem. Looks like there is one on Enigma, and
There was a second gem, maybe at someone's base here.
There is one on Dire's base.
Dire base. So both gems on the secret side.
Radiant they really need a gem, because if they lose this fight because of vision or because Burning gets caught out by a sentry ward, that is game losing.
Well, we'll see them back off now. They don't have to worry about a Roshan respawn just yet, so they can push out their lanes, buy the next item or two, get that creepy equilibrium, and then, as you mentioned, I feel like, yeah, they definitely need a new gem. Puppy saved up a lot of gold on this Enigma. I'm curious to see what he goes for. Something like Boots of Travel was picked up. He was up to 4k gold.
I think a Lincoln Sphere would be really good.
The Lincoln's just so he doesn't get the spell steal or lasso coming into play. I mean, just having one more spell needed to actually cancel his black hole or get that spell steal.
I mean,
off.
Refresher's also good. Like BKB Black Hole, he globals, you'd Refresher BKB Black Hole again. So that's also a good way to deal with the silencer. However, that does require a lot of farm. Burning, Scotty completed. Looking for someone to kill. S4 also Scotty completed, but neither of these heroes have buybacks. Who does have buybacks? Shadow Fiend and Enigma. Only 2 heroes in the game. That is scary. If you're Big God.
At Big God, especially Zhao 8. One of those heroes you don't want getting caught out here. Maybe just some slight poor gold management here, as he's on 1600 gold, but getting to that stage of the game where buybacks are expensive and you've got to manage that reliable gold versus unreliable. Gem has been now picked up. ROTK, not the one who purchases this, as he still desperately needs a BKB.
This is, very problematic for Troll. I think one of the problems with Troll this game is he's always item behind Sniper. Like, he has BKB, and then he gets Scotty to counter the BKB so he doesn't get kited, and then by this time, Sniper's going to have Butterfly. And then he also has that MKB on top of that, so he can out-damage a Troll even without a BKB. So this is... And on top of this, he can also right-click the Shadow Fiend through the Butterfly. So Xiao 8 is just way over-farmed compared to S4. S4 is actually only 14,800 net worth.
Oh, goodbye, Puppy. He gets picked off in the top lane. Does have a buyback available, but loses one of those precious gems. Secret have another one back at base, and there will be a Roshan respawn in 1 minute time. Oh, ROTK goes in, catches out Kuro. Another pick off. Secret giving up a couple of freebies themselves.
No buyback on Earthshaker.
They're going for the counter push at bottom lane, but it looks like mid lane of Rax is going to go down. TP back from Arteezy. The glyph coming out now as well. Puppy moves forward. Doesn't want to go for the black hole, as it's going to be an easy steal for your Rubik, who's sitting back. Now your Rax is going to get focused down. The Midnight Pulse lane being laid down. Zhao 8 in trouble, gets forced up out once more. BKB, one right click will be it. Shadow Fiend barely gets a kill on your Sniper, who did BKB there. Now ROTK next in line without a BKB. He's going to go down and lose a freshly purchased gem. The hook shot, meanwhile, uh-oh. Lamb going to be another casualty on the Big God side. They've lost 2 and it's about to become a 3rd. Didn't get a chance to use the global silence in that team fight, and they did get the melee racks, but it feels like they had to pay a pretty heavy
How was
price.
Xiao 8 so low at the beginning of the fight? I didn't actually see. He got
The
hook
Midnight
shot.
Pulse. He was just sitting in the Midnight Pulse, hitting the racks.
That would do it. That thing does a lot of damage. When I saw him got hook shot, he was at like 300 HP.
Yeah.
And I mean, forceps will save you up to a certain point, but that was right before a crucial Roshan. I think this Roshan with the cheese is more important than the melee racks. And Big God have devoted a lot of effort to that melee racks and just not gotten it. First, the botch fight where they lost 3 and only got 1, and then now this botch fight where they lost 3 again, even with 2 heroes dead at the start of the fight.
Short term, it feels like it definitely favors Secret. If Big God can stabilize, get all their heroes back online, get buybacks, get their BKB, which we keep talking about on the Batrider, they're in a better position because they've taken 2 melee raxes and have a lot more pressure
This
on their
Shiva's
side,
is a game-losing item. I think this game would have been over a lot sooner. They would have gotten the melee racks and they would have gotten Aegis cheese, and then they can just end the game pretty swiftly after that. But not having a BKB on him is one of the costliest mistakes in this game, if not the most.
When you look at what the Shivas has done, it's
not kept him alive.
Yeah, exactly. It hasn't kept him alive. It's negated a bit of the physical damage on the Dire side, but
they do so much physical damage. They have to kite as opposed to mitigate.
Well, you're not kiting without a BKB if you're this Batrider, and we'll see Big God now look to push out on the map. I feel like they almost just don't want to go take another fight until this Aegis has expired. Not to mention someone like Zhao 8 would want a Butterfly.
I think a Ghost Scepter might have been better on OTK than a Shiva's. Like, Troll can't do anything versus it. Shadow Fiend, he can Requiem, but by that time, you can just bounce. So, well.
It is what it is.
This game is dicey for both sides. Secret, as you said, possesses a temporary lead in the momentum shift with Aegis and the cheese, but Big God with the 1.5 racks at advantage, set of racks with 2 melees in the bag.
And while Secret, as per usual, have these good scaling late game supports, a global silence in the late game, a Rubik spell steal, Big God themselves have 2 good late game carries. They seem to be scaling better than the... I mean, the SF is on par with them, but the Troll seems to not be keeping up.
Oh, they're smoke inking mid if they get a kill right here. At the same time, we haven't seen one of Big God's most powerful moves this game, which is a high ground defense with Bat and... ROTK tries to blink to the high ground.
Who's going to reveal it? Gets hit. Well, caught up by the Rocket Flare. Going to Firefly now, and Zai still looking for that hook shot. Can he find ROTK? You betcha. ROTK.
Now he doesn't actually have buyback.
So.
He's 50 gold short.
I
ROTK.
don't imagine that will matter, but Secret with Aegis and Cheese may look to... I mean, that's 60 seconds. That's actually quite a long respawn now.
This is with the Aegis and Cheese. You cannot afford to die with when Batrider is one of your best high ground defense. If it's like Silencer, it's like, okay, well, he can just buy back in global if there's a black hole, but... I mean, it's your Batrider. They are not scared to threaten high ground, and if he buys back, they immediately back off, and they don't really have a good way of engaging the fight.
Well, 3 buybacks on the Big God side, both their carries as well as the Rubik. Actually, Batrider now has buyback. It just ticked up enough gold, so the delayed time does get him up to it. 30 seconds, though, on that respawn, and I'm sure he'd prefer not to have to use the buyback now, unless they can guarantee a good fight. Puppey, whoa!
He almost bought the Manta bait, but it will stall, give them, what, 5 more seconds, I suppose?
Yep. S4 taking a lot of damage here. It looks like they're not going to use the Batrider ult, the buyback. It looks like they shouldn't have to as well. And Secret just going to have to disperse. They TP Enigma top.
They catch a huge break there. And Batrider still needs BKB. I mean, at this point, you might even sell the Shivas to get BKB and buyback.
You look at what the Shivas is offering him right now, it's not too much, so...
Easy minus 40% attack speed through Battle Trance. Not useful. They're attacking at 280% and with Battle Trance, and with Shivas it's 240%. Whoop-de-doo.
It's just all the pickoffs they keep giving them. I mean, you look at early this game where the Rubik and Silencer got picked off a few too many times. Now it's ROTK who's been caught out of...
He has had some really clutch lassos, though.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the trade-off's been worth it.
Well, we'll see what the next move's going to be. Right now, Big God going to keep farming up Burning. He's building up to some evasion as well with the Talisman picked up, and we'll be forcing Secret's carries into MKB.
They are
both
slot
Troll
challenged.
as well as Shadow Fiend.
They're very slot challenged, because Troll needs... actually, does he need a BKB? Probably.
Kind of. There's Global Silence for one thing, which I guess he...
Napalm and Shrapnel, I think, are the most like annoying to deal with. I mean, Telekinesis is also really annoying. But if he goes for BKB and MKB, he won't have Lifesteal. And Shadow Fiend only has 1 more slot.
It's got to be an MKB at this point. I feel like there's just no way around
Well,
it.
if Troll went Butterfly. If Sniper goes Butterfly for sure. I guess they're both going Butterfly.
Oh, hookshot in. It's going to be an initiation coming out of your Clockwork. Immediate cog steal. The Aegis gets reclaimed though, so maybe a fight that Big God want to take. ROTK, what are you doing? Gets hit, does not get the blink out. ROTK, please! No, ROTK!
At least he has buyback, but he lost a gem.
Oh, loses a gem. Lamb on the low ground. Does have a global silence. Is he going to throw it here? Looks like he's just going to die without using it. He does not have a buyback. S4 now gets pulled onto the high ground. The sniper right-click damage. He gets the cheese off, though. And Kuro's blinked into his own death here. Puppey now. Blink. Black hole on 3, but this cancels their Omni Slash from Burning. Saves the day. A huge Omni Slash. Yeah, wait on the sniper. Going to go down to the right-click damage of Arteezy. Triple kill for Arteezy, but he's going to pay the price as Burning gets himself a double kill. They lose the Clockwork as well. 4 heroes dead. Enigma TP's home. And a big team fight victory. That looked like the black hole Puppey'd been after all game long.
He was. It was like, okay, Silencer's dead. I can finally do it. Oh my goodness. Burning.
I talked about the 3, like the big 3, the Rubik, the Lasso, as well as the Global Silence. It's the Omni Slash. That's what it was, saving the day,
it was still a
the
risk.
black hole.
Silencer still could have bought back in Global. So
He didn't have, I mean, yeah, Secret don't know that end of the day, so.
It was still a risky play, but he had to go for it.
That was a game-winning play if they win that fight.
And it was a game-winning play by Burning to cancel it.
Well, back the other way we go. Buyback still available on your Troll Warlord if he wants to use it. 5 seconds on your Kuroki Earthshaker, and Burning gonna get the rain tracks, and it looks like he wants to move on to the tier 4 towers. Cannot go for the top lane as there is a tier 2. Gets one tier 4, starts working on the other. Other problem is Shadow Fiend low on souls after dying. Troll gonna buy back into this fight. ROTK in trouble. I feel like I've said this too many times this game. He gets Echo Slam. The Global Silence comes in. Damage has been done, and Zai cannot finish off ROTK. He pops the Ghost Scepter. Wants Burning here. They've got detection. Hookshot in, but the Yule Scepter also being used in tandem, and that is not the play you want to make. Gives Burning the opportunity to go for Blade Fury. Lasso onto Puppey, who does not have another black hole. He's going to get right-clicked down by your sniper. Kuro misses his initiation. As a result, dead Enigma will be forced to buy back. No Earthshaker, no Troll. It's a dieback from your S4 Troll Warlord, and Zai, uh-oh, here comes the Assassinate. Not enough damage. He survives on 40 HP, but he's going to have to heal up, and the throne exposed. Big God getting one step closer to a game 3. Arteezy going to throw off a Requiem of Souls to slow down the damage output here. He's just throwing razors. He flutters back to the fountain, and it looks like one last hurrah as Zai hookshots in, catches out Zhao Wei. He gets forced up into a cogs. He's got no buyback on the sniper. Buyback comes out from your Juggernaut. They've got to get the throne here. TP in from Burning with the Boots of Travel. He's got an Omni Slash, and who's he going to go for? Onto Arteezy. Omni Slash comes out. Arteezy going to get sliced and diced onto your Zai Clockwork as well. It's a team wipe. Secret have lost game 2. We're going to a game 3. Big God bounce back once more here in the Dota 2 Asia Championships.
I think Juggernaut has been Burning standout hero for this tournament. Widely reputed for his anti-mage as well as his Morphling, Weaver, some other hard carries, but this in tournament, it's been his Juggernaut. It has been way better than his other heroes. He's had a significant early, mid, and late game impact. And sure, he has some dicey deaths there, but that Omni Slash to cancel the black hole was the finishing blow. That was the play that won them the game.
That's the thing. Burning known for his big late game carries, his anti-mage, even his Medusa this tournament, but he hasn't made the plays and been able to control the game in those series. With Medusa, it was all about the let's just defend high ground and turtle up and stall the game for the late game. On the Juggernaut, he was crushing Zai in lane. Zai was level 3 for a long, long time there on the Clockwork. Mid-game, he was going around getting kills. The Shadowblade pickup as well, fantastic this game, I feel. It got a lot done as well.
And I think that's where you go back to Puppey's items. And if he had a Lincoln's, they would have won the game right there. So I mean, you can't expect that happening like 50 minutes in the game, and an Omni Slash of all things to cancel your black hole, especially with the decreased range on it. I don't even know how Burning got that off.
That's post nerf, just somehow I think coming in from behind when Puppey's black hole in front of him,
Shadowblade.
Yeah.
I mean, even with ROTK on his feed meter, just get a BKB,
ROTK,
please.
The difficulty watch needs to be dialed down a bit further, maybe. I don't know, because Burning.
Xiao Wei's gonna have another chat with him, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like it's needed.
Whew, that was a nail biter.
That was some game 2, Ben. We're going to go back to the panel, and when after that, we'll have game 3 of Big God versus Team Secret. Take it away, guys.
And the series is now 1-1. Big God. They didn't have the best of laning stages. Secret was quite ahead for a while. But then Burning started rolling. And that Juggernaut and that Sniper were hard to stop.
Man, you really see how scary the Sniper pick is for a lot of that game. It just... The Force Staffs, like, you have the Clockwork, right? So you can jump him with the hookshot. But every single time he just gets Force Staffed out. And then I think Merlini made a really good point. Like, the cogs ended up hurting Secret when they attempt to chase onto him at that point. And Shadow Fiend walks in. He's lost half his health before he even gets in range. I also have to say, that was a hell of a Rubik game from Ice Ice.
Nope.
Some plays that didn't end up working out. Like, he steals Black Hole, gets 4, doesn't really do anything because he got caught by the Black Hole first. But, man, he had a hell of a Rubik game. And I think the kind of the unsung hero in some ways, where a lot of emphasis was on these super stack carries. But if he didn't play well in the Rubik, and also a Sinner, as you were mentioning right before we got to the post game, if RTK didn't have a really good 15 to 30 minute mark game, they don't even have a shot in this one.
No, he really kept them in the game, and then he almost threw it away at the end. Had a couple of
it's the trials and tribulations of being an RTK
He's a
fan or hater or whatever the case may be. He takes you on the roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. He's that kind of player who can make some of the biggest plays and some of the smallest plays. He had a little bit of everything in this game, I think.
But when you guys talk about the Force Staff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
you go ahead. Yeah, when you guys talk about the Force Staff, Probably it's better even when the hook shot goes in, you go in with the hook shot, try not to trap the sniper, instead just move forward so you actually push the sniper back towards his team, so the
Yes.
4-staff would not be able to help him. That was something that the Clockwork, like Zai didn't really do most of the time. I don't think I saw it once. So it could potentially actually make the 4-staff save even harder for the enemy team.
It felt like later on this game, it really came down to a big black hole, and there were just too many
Omni
ways to
Slash.
cancel
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Omni Slash, quite a reliable way to cancel it. You've got Sniper who can just potentially kill the Enigma during the black hole before he even gets one off.
At least it doesn't have the mini stunts anymore. That was frustrating.
Yeah, and is unlikely to catch the Sniper anyway. And that's assuming the Enigma even gets a black hole, not to mention, as we saw, the Rubik steal and the global silence. So I'm amazed that Puppy found any black holes this game, to be honest.
It was just a game that was designed to stop Puppy to have any kind of impact. And as a second thought, also Kuroki. Kuroki had the dagger very, very late into the game. It was after they lost the Raxis, the mid Raxis, that he
And
actually...
he gave up a lot of fissures as well. Like
Yes.
there was a lot of times at the Rubik. I didn't think it would be happening when Kuro was playing the Earthshaker, because he is a very good Rubik player himself. Like there was a lot of times I felt the fissure still could have been avoided.
Yeah, absolutely. Because most of the features actually catches the Rubik.
Yeah.
And then all you had to do is enchant Totem to try to...
Yeah, but he
not
didn't
that.
do it. Like a few times that he was trying to run in to drop his Echo Slam, but
Yeah.
in the end it turned out to be more detrimental to his team than doing good.
There have been mistakes from both teams in both games, but the teams feel really evenly matched. Neither game has been a stomp. They've been very close from start to finish. Ultimately, it's coming down to like that one extra buyback, that one extra ultimate cooldown. Maybe a team gets a Roche, and that just makes the difference. But I hope Game 3 continues. This has been a great series so far.
I also feel that while I can't say that either of the teams was outdrafted in any of the games,
I don't think
it
so.
does come to, okay, these games are getting into the late game. Suddenly, I can do more with these heroes than you can do. So it's not. It's a rare case of this is not exactly an outdraft. It's just they're so evenly matched that whenever it gets to late game, whoever has the slight advantage will just carry it to the end.
What did you guys think of the Troll? Because I did feel like that was the one hero for Secret that the presence just wasn't there for me. I didn't really see the Troll pretty much to the table.
No, Battle Trance was only really beneficial for himself and for the Shadow Fiend.
Mhm.
There was kind of no one else that could use that. And also not really a classic S4 hero, I would say. And it kind of defeats the purpose of putting it safe lane, as they've done in a lot of their other games where they safe lane S4 and a hero who goes out and finds kills and makes space. Troll's a follow-up in a lot of cases, or an assist across the map to when others set up the kills.
Mhm.
I just think he was out of his comfort zone, the hero. I think a couple of people were talking about why doesn't he get BKB. I think it was a good choice he didn't get it. I think it was a bad item for the Troll this game. He's against, what was it? The global silence goes through.
Mhm.
There were no real single... Well,
Lasso,
Lasso goes
Lasso.
through,
And
and
the right
Sniper
click
still
is-
does full damage, but
Omni Slash.
Omni Slash goes through. I think the only reason the BKB might have been a good choice was that Ice had Fissure all the time. So he should... But ideally you don't need to build BKB against your own teammate, right? But
And the other reason I felt the Troll couldn't do like significant damage in the fight, because Sniper was always hitting him from such a far distance that he cannot reach to the Sniper. And back to the point where Merlini said as well, the Cogs sometimes were preventing him from doing damage too.
Yeah.
So it was a difficult game for the Troll to...
In any case, it was an experiment for Secret. This is the first time they picked Troll.
Well,
Didn't work out so well for them.
will they? I mean, this is a puppy-driven team. You go back to T2, this guy picked Nyx Assassin in their final match versus IG. They end up losing that game. Yeah, the experiment might not have worked, but that is not going to stop Puppy. If he feels like something that they haven't run yet is the right hero, he's still going to go.
You
for it.
remember the anecdote though. The only
Yeah.
reason why Puppy picked the Nyx Assassin is
keep
because
off the line.
he
The Keeper of the Light, yeah.
but the Nyx Assassin pick in particular was because he thought that Spike Carapace worked the way it works now.
Yeah.
It used to be much weaker. It used to only work on the first instance of damage. So if one hero damages you, then suddenly the spell doesn't do anything anymore. He thought, oh, this is actually really cool. Like anything that does damage to you is gonna get stunned, and he didn't know. Then the game was changed to adjust to Puppy's vision of the game. So he was way ahead of his time. He was even ahead of the changelog. That is Puppy.
maybe he is Ice Frog.
He's Ice Frog from the future.
Mm.
And he's forgotten what year it is.
Yes.
Hopefully he remembers some time.
Damn it.
Still sounds more likely than Bruno being Ice Frog, honestly.
Okay, I agree.
Okay.
Anyways, we're going to go into
anything Flaming Bruno.
Yes.
We're going to go into a break. This game is super exciting. It's 1-1 in this best of 3. The loser is going to finish 4th place. The winner has to play EG to advance to the finals of the tournament. We'll see if it's going to be Big God of Team Secret coming out on top after the break.